Okay, here we have the April Bass and Yellas Tackle Club box. Righto, let's start shallow and work our way deeper. I'm going to start off with the spinnerbait in the box. This is one from Domiki, the Tot spinnerbait. This is probably going to be the first thing I would tie on no matter where I'm fishing, whether it be in a dam or in a river. Now, if you're fishing a structure, this is perfect. Spinnerbaits are made for structure. They're very snag resistant. The way I'm gonna fish this in structure is cast it in, let it sink down, give it a couple rips once it hits the bottom just to get those blades spinning, and then go into slow to a medium roll. You can cover a lot of water and a lot of ground doing this because you're constantly peppering casts out looking for fish. Now, if you're fishing in a dam, I'm probably gonna look for either some schooled up fish or the original riverbed where the water drops off, and then cast up to the shallow water and work my spinnerbait down that drop off into the original riverbed. Because a lot of your feeding fish will be closer to the bottom. Now, if you do have a sounder and you find fish schooling up off the bottom, these are obviously suspended fish and you're going to increase your retrieve or not let it sink as far down. Or one way you can do this is cast past the school and retrieve medium speed, and it'll bring it up through the school. Perfect way to fish a spinnerbait either in a river or a dam. Now, if you're constantly fishing deep water or you find a lot of schooled fish directly beneath you, what I like to do is chuck on a vibe. So here we have the Berkeley Shimmer Shad. This one here is a soft plastic vibration style lure with two trebles hanging off the bottom and a little paddle tail on the back. So if I do find that school of fish directly beneath me, I'm going to drop this down and just work it vertically. Some short, sharp jerks is perfect, or you can do the slow rise and drop as well. Works a treat. Now, if jigging's not your thing, you can work this on the cast and retrieve. I'm going to work this similar to what I would with this spinnerbait. So a long cast out, let it sink to the bottom. Might do a couple hops and let it sink to the bottom again into a slow to medium roll, or cast out, let it sink to the bottom, one quick whip into a medium roll back as well. Great way to fish that one. But if you're mainly fishing the edges, or if trolling is more of your thing, then look no further than the Samaki Reddick jerk baits. This is a 60 mil hard body in a minnow style hard body lure. Already comes rigged up with BKK treble hook, so it's ready to go out of the box. And it is a suspending hard body as well. So this is great for fishing some of the edges, some of the shallow weedy banks, lay down, so fallen timber, rock edges. Cast it out, give it a couple rips down and pause it, because that's just going to suspend in the water column without sinking down or floating up, giving the fish a lot of time to get pissed off with it and hit it, or at least get intrigued by it before you start twitching it and working it back away. From there, we move over to the plastics. So I'm going to go to the Pontoon 21 homunculus. So these are a grub style plastic, a nice thick big body, big curl tail. If I'm fishing the river, I'm probably going to rig this up on, say, a 1/4 ounce jig head with a little beetle spin attached to the top, making it fish very similar to a spinnerbait. But now I can chop and change the weight, therefore chop and change its sink rate as well. So by sinking a 1/4 ounce or lighter, you're getting a much slower sink rate, which can completely change the bite of the fish if they're not hitting something heavier and sinking so fast past them. This is my go-to generally for all my river bass and yellas. Now, if I'm fishing in a dam, I'm probably going to rip that beetle spin off and just go straight through with a jig head onto my line, either 1/4 ounce right up to 3/8 of an ounce, depending on how deep these fish are sitting. Once again, cast out, let it sink down, back into your retrieve. Now, one thing I'd probably be more inclined to do if I'm not fishing with that beetle spin is actually jump over to the next plastics. This is the Charlie Brewer's Slider Original. This is the Charlie Brewer Sliders Original in the double action. So these are a paddle tail soft plastic with multiple rib joints just above the tail, giving it a little bit more movement, you know, free action in the tail area when you're winding it in. Great little paddle tail plastic here. So I'm gonna rig this up with 1/4 to 3/8 ounce once again, but probably leave off the beetle spin this time. Just fish it as a straight through plastic on a jig head. In the same sort of circumstances as well, it's not really gonna matter whether you're fishing deep water dams or edge bite or rivers. Just chop and change your jig head to suit anything from even 1/12 of an ounce for your shallow river edges or weedy edges in a dam, right up to 3/8 of an ounce if you're going really deep water. But using the same sort of ideas and retrieves that we had for these other lures. So cast out, sink down, meet and retrieve, lots of twitches, pauses, etc. That's it for the Bass and Yellas box this month. If you want to check it out or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.